Hi, I'm Heather. This is Red Ibis Coach. I am a coach. I'm also a human, and I talk about coaching and human things. I have a master's in positive psychology and coaching psychology, and I use that to inform how I talk about things much of the time. Today, I want to talk about positive psychology once again because we are still covering the PERMA model for well-being and the dimensions of the PERMA model and how we can use them as a specific lens to apply to the way we use social media. Today is accomplishment, and I want to share with you a paper talking about social media literacy and just talk to you about a few of the highlights from that paper. So there's this paper by Laura Schurz and Laura Van den Bosch. Please bop me on the head if I said that wrong. So introducing the social media literacy or the SMILE model with the case of the positivity bias on social media. So the positivity bias is just like the carefully curated uh, visuals and kind of like narrative that people pursue on social media so that they're sending a very specific image and people are getting a very specific impression of them. And the smile model is geared towards adolescents, but adults could really use it too because they are not immune to the positivity bias at all. People are still bamboozled by it constantly. So this is the paper, and it is talking about all kinds of stuff to do with how do we deal with the fact that social media use is impacting adolescents, it is impacting their self-esteem, and there's all kinds of reasons for that. So how do we develop a literacy model for that so that they are countering the adversarial effects? So we're talking about two psychology models. We're talking about the PERMA model, and now we're talking about the SMILE model. And both of these are relating to actual models, right? Like people online who have curated this very specific image, whether it's just the way they look, or it's their lifestyle, or also their accomplishments, or all three of those things. And then we're looking at the A part of PERMA, which stands for accomplishment. We've covered positive emotions. That's P, E, engagement, R, relationships. Yesterday was M, meaning, and today is A, accomplishment. So how can you possibly use social media to do anything about your accomplishments? Well, first, it's really important to adjust how you think about accomplishment when you are seeing all these accomplished people online. The first thing is to remember that based on the positivity bias, people are showing you a very curated image. In my case, I'm not doing a lot of editing on my videos. And yes, I am showcasing my degrees, but that's because they give me a lens of expertise that I feel can be helpful to you. These accomplishments were only secured over many years. So I did my education degrees back in 2009, 2007 to 2009 were my education degrees. I got my master's in 2026. So that's a huge gap between when I got my education degrees and now that I have my master's degree in applied psychology. My USB light ran out of power, so I just turned it back on. Um, so yeah, that's to illustrate that like accomplishments, whether you think they're impressive or not, or whether they make you feel inferior or not, these accomplishments are often something that happens over a long period of time. You are a person who's coming in from an outside perspective as an outside observer and seeing these accomplishments without seeing anything that happens behind the scenes often. So you may have this this comparison where you're saying like, wow, this person has done so much more than me. What have I done with my life? And so that's where the positivity bias can really work against you. So when you're thinking about your own accomplishment and what you still want to accomplish, you can still use social media in a very specific way. One super interesting way that the paper talks about, for example, and again, it's talking about adolescence, but they do bring up this concept of upward comparison. So that's when you see someone else doing something that you think is cool or impressive or something that you wish you could do. And you're like, wow, they're better than me. They are superior than me. I am comparing myself and comparing them, and they are a level higher than me or many levels higher than me. Some people use that to punish and hurt themselves. But there's another way that you can use that upward comparison, and that is to say, this person is aspirational to me. They are showing me that this thing can be done. They did it. Maybe I can do it too. Or it's saying, like knocking on your door, knocking somewhere, touching some kind of nerve in you that's saying, I still want more from my life. There's more that I want to accomplish. There's more that I want to achieve. There's more that I think I'm capable of. This person is kind of like touching on that nerve. And you can, of course, interpret that negatively, use it to beat yourself up. But you can also say, hey, this is a really good reminder that I'm not done yet. There's still so much in store for me, and I need to keep pursuing it. Of course, there's some times in your life where you need a break. One of my very deeply meaningful and super helpful people that I turn to, he's a writer. He's an ancestor now. He passed away in 2024. But his name is Rick Jarrow. And he's written these spiritual books that are also tied to career and accomplishment and achievement and getting what you want out of life. And this is often in the wider narrative mistaken for like conquering, achieving, just like um, really using this mindset of like, I just like crushed something, like almost like this colonizing mindset, like this is mine, it's mine for the taking, and I took it and I got it and now it's mine. Instead of saying like, there's so much to life, there's so many possibilities. Even though I know I may not be able to do every single thing, I can't eat every single thing in the world. I can't date every single person I want to date. I can't get all the degrees that there are because there's not enough time. I can't read all the books I want to read. Even knowing that, I can still make some really great decisions about what I can do and what I will do, and having agency over that and saying, I'm going to do this, or this matters to me, so I'm going to pursue it. And not so much as like a crush it, accomplish it, smash it mindset, because that often leaves you wanting more in a way that you barely take time to notice the thing that you just did that was so great that you thought you wouldn't do, or you spent time beating yourself up about not having done it yet, and then you did it, and then you turn around and you're like, okay, what's next? In moderation, that mindset is good. It's good to always be thinking about, what else do I want to try? What else do I want to do? What else is interesting to me? However, if we think about accomplishment and savoring accomplishment, so savoring is another concept from positive psychology where you actually take time and turn your energy and attention toward noticing how you feel and feeling great about the thing that you just did and how much it means to you. And as I'm talking about this, I'm noticing that like I literally just graduated with my master's in March. So yes, I turned in my dissertation in September of 2025, but the actual conferment date was not until March. So I actually just graduated. Now I don't have a partner and my parents are no longer alive. So um there were only a few people in my life to say like, "Hey, you did this thing." And because I live alone, I did not celebrate with anyone else. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't have a party or anything because I've moved around so much in my international travels that my friends are spread out all over the world. So lots of people were happy for me and congratulated me if it was on their radar, right? If they knew about it. But in terms of like savoring and savoring with someone else, I didn't do that. So that's a learning from for me as well. It's like, how can you not only pursue things that are meaningful to you and accomplish them, but also take the time to savor them? And if we go back to the idea of relationships, when you celebrate something successful, like your success with other people, that actually increases and enhances the quality of your relationship because it builds a stronger bond. So if anytime you can, savor the moment with people who genuinely are are happy for you, you will have a better bond in your relationship. You will be savoring something together. These things matter over time. So again, thinking about how to use social media in a way that is literate, using critical thinking to take perspective on why you are consuming the content you're consuming and how it makes you feel and what it can do to motivate you. I really think that if you're trying to do something, it's super important to follow or subscribe or interact with other people who are doing that thing or have done that thing. It's extremely important to surround yourself with either people in real life or, if that's not possible, people online who are doing the thing that you want to do. Not only do you get great insight and ideas into how you can do it or how you might want to do it differently, but it's also reminding you every day, every week, that other people are doing this thing and you can do it. That makes a huge difference. When I was getting ready to go to Ireland, I was watching content about Ireland and trying to get as much information as I could about what to expect. When I was going to Australia, that was so long ago that there wasn't anything to consume. There wasn't anywhere to go. Truly, there wasn't. Um, to know what that would be like. So I actually had to lean on the Australian person that I knew at the time and get information from them. And that was helpful. And then just doing a ton of internet research. And today we have just so many more options because social media, people are putting their lives out there in a way that we can observe and find meaning from and see what their accomplishing and see how we can compare them favorably to ourselves. And this can also be accomplishments. What I want to say is like adjusting your perspective on what somebody accomplished. There's a really huge trend right now for women, which I'm very lucky because for some reason my algorithm is just like not showing it to me, but it's showing it to other female friends that I have, which is like this trend for women becoming super skinny again. And I'll just tell you as a millennial that we've already lived through this and we know that trends come and go. So, like right now, whatever the thing is that you're being pressured into doing to make yourself more beautiful or more acceptable or whatever, that's going to be something that people would make fun of you for in like 10 years. A great example of that is eyebrows. Eyebrows have been bushy and like fuller and more defined in the past 10, 15 years, much more so than they were when I was growing up. Like, we are talking about like tiny, 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 like one line of hair. That used to be preferable. So, like, if you had super bushy, brushed up brows with like lots of brow liner and stuff, people would have thought you were a freak and they would have made fun of you. They would have beat you up for it. Like, that's an example of how trends come and go and why you have to be careful of the way you're comparing yourself and what it actually means in the long term. So in terms of the dieting and the GLP-1s and the being super skinny, that is something that will not stay the same. It will not. We have seen how these trends come and go. So when you're comparing yourself and you're saying, wow, that person has accomplished being skinny or like fitting into a size whatever. First of all, you don't know how that person actually lost the weight. You don't know what kind of filters they're using. You don't know what kind of struggles they're experiencing. You don't know if they actually have like some kind of illness that's making it so they lose weight. Like, there are so many factors that go into this curated aesthetic that they're showing you. So if you're taking time out of your day, taking the energy, your precious time, and telling yourself that you're not good enough because you didn't also accomplish this thing that this person accomplished, whether or not we want to call it an accomplishment. First of all, it's obviously a detriment to your well being. Second of all, you're not them. And third of all, as we've established, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. We don't know what's really going on. We don't know how much that image has been augmented. Also, what looks good now is going to change. So it's part of accomplishment and part of thinking about what you want your accomplishments to be is thinking about what will serve you in the long term. So, like, getting a degree in theory serves you over the long term. Getting a job that you really wanted in theory serves you over the long term. You can't know for sure, but these things have a fairly good chance of serving you in the long term. If you think about like getting a pet, that could serve you over the long term. Traveling serves you over the long term. Learning a language serves you over the long term. Learning a new skill usually serves you over the long term. Getting super skinny and fitting into a certain size does not serve you over the long term. What something that's important to know, I want to wrap up this video soon, but something that's important to know is that losing a lot of weight rapidly is bad for your bones. Bones make hormones. A lot of people don't know that. Another thing a lot of people don't know is that for women, your bone density peaks between the ages of 25 and 26. So once you, like, teenage years up to 25 and 26, you are building bone to the thickest your bones will ever be. And knowing that your bones produce hormones means that we should understand that if we are not building our bones to the density that they can be, then we will always be having a hard time with our hormones, and also setting ourselves up for stuff like osteoporosis and other muscle atrophying, wasting, like these kinds of things build up over time. So even though it seems like you can make a whole bunch of mistakes and hurt your body quite a bit in the short term as a young person, and that won't affect you in your older age, studies and science are showing that that is not the case. So what you do to your body now will affect you in the long term. So when you think about something like body accomplishment, maybe that's not the best thing to serve you in the long term. Another thing is relationships, like usually romantic relationships. If you're constantly beating yourself up because you're not having the kind of relationship that's been curated in front of you, you're mad at yourself about a fairy tale that you've been told and you don't even know if it's real. These kinds of things don't serve your well being, and they distract you from living the life that you could actually be living. You might not be able to have everything you want all at once, but there are plenty of things that you can do to work toward things that you can have right now. You can start small, build your way up, make a plan. Again, this sort of conversation is a great thing to have with a coach because we are trained to help you really uncover your deepest desires, the things that you really want to do, help you build the confidence to do them, and then help you build the skills that will serve you over the long term. So that is a bunch of stuff that I wanted to tell you about accomplishment and how you can use social media to tip your perspective toward a mindset of pursuing the things you want to pursue rather than turning it against yourself and making yourself feel bad because you don't have what other people have. Always, always thinking about things in an abundance mindset will serve you better, and thinking about how you can grow and change and how you're always allowed to try again is really going to serve you better in the long term and be better for your well-being. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.